From recasting rumors saying Miller's out of DC for good, to the disappointing numbers The Flash opened to domestically, here's all you need to know about Ezra being replaced as The Flash. Now, I don't need to tell you why Miller's recasting rumors have spread like wildfire in the industry, because honestly, they've done that for themselves already. The film was off to a great start when it was first announced, and even its teaser was released to a great response. But as soon as Ezra's behavior started making headlines, fans were totally put off by the actor, and not just them, but all their projects too, including The Flash, which had gone through so many delays at that point that everyone thought the movie was going to be canned. Just like Batgirl or the rumored Man of Steel sequel, that never got to see the light of day. In fact, it came to a point that people started saying Grant Gustin should play the Flash instead of Ezra in the movie. Then there were stories of The Flash 2 already being written and ready, where the focus was heavily going to be on Michael Keaton's Batman and Sasha Calle's Supergirl. The rumor also said that the sequel was dependent on The Flash's success, and if it didn't hit a benchmark in numbers, the whole project was going to be canned. These rumors also peaked at the time, when James Gunn started firing existing DCEU actors, including Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, and of course, Henry Cavill as Superman. Both of these actors had been extremely successful in their roles, and fans were ready to see them in new projects in the DCEU. But after the management switched at Warner Brothers, with Gunn and Safran's taking over DC, the whole future of the studio became a blurry outline of what we thought was going to be an era of heroes that started with Batman v Superman and Justice League. Plus, considering how these guys were firing superheroes left, right, and center, and how Ezra's behavior had become the worst talk of the town, fans were sure that even if they weren't recast in the first movie, Miller was never going to wear the speedster suit again. Because if they let go of Henry Cavill from his role, why would they keep Miller, right? Wrong. Because after months of fans boycotting Ezra because of their poor behavior, they finally got an answer, which is that Ezra Miller will not be replaced as Flash. And if the movie goes on to make a sequel, Ezra will be the one playing the Scarlet Speedster. Bummer for the fans, right? I mean, no one expected DC to rise in support for them, mainly because they didn't even use them for their own film's press tour, only getting them to attend a photo premiere so people could see that they were still part of the franchise. So why are they choosing not to let go of the biggest issue behind the film's loss? Director Andy and producer Barbara Muschietti cleared that up for us as they talked about the film falling apart and what role Ezra played in it happening. And according to them, Miller had nothing to do with it. Yep, these two even said that they laughed when they read the rumors about the recast, because at that point, they'd already shot a lot of scenes with them, and there was no way changing them was even a possibility. They also said that even though the production team takes allegations such as Ezra's very seriously, they were just focused on making the movie, which they still think is one of the best things to come out of DC. Andy further clarified in another interview that if they ever made a sequel, he couldn't think of anyone other than Ezra playing the Flash, because according to Andy, they did a very good job, and no one else could even match it. This isn't the first time they've come to Ezra's defense. In fact, when they were asked about Miller's behavior at the film's first screening, Andy was very supportive of them, saying that Ezra had really been working on themselves and is much better than before. He also said that the actor is taking their steps to recovery very seriously, but dealing with the kind of mental health issues they have. It's going to take some time, but everyone is hoping they get better. Even Barbara has spoken up for the actor time and again, saying that Ezra gave everything for this role, be it physically, creatively, or emotionally, and called them absolutely supreme. Even James Gunn chimed in to support Ezra, saying that the actor is very committed to their recovery, and everyone's in full support of their journey. Well, looks like DC has Ezra's back for whatever they choose to do in the future, and as long as Muschietti is on the producer's chair, Miller's going nowhere. But while DC thinks that's the best path to take, the decision is not sitting well with fans who think Ezra is completely destroying not just the film franchise, but also the Flash's character. After all, Barry Allen has been an extremely important part of DC Comics since the beginning. The fans even shared their thoughts about the studio's comments, about how no one else plays the character better than Ezra. People think the only reason no one can play the character better than them is because the character they're playing is in no way close to Barry Allen. They've even slammed the writers of the film, saying that even they haven't done a good job of portraying Barry in the movie, who's a twitchy, self-conscious, weird dude instead of the confident superhero the Flash actually is. They even spoke up about Ezra doing no press for the movie, saying it's clear DC is saving its own back, because everyone knows what kind of questions Miller's gonna get asked if they were left within a 10-foot distance from any reporter. They've called the actor a liability, who's gonna take down DC with their acting, and a name that shouldn't be associated with the studio or the role at all, considering their past actions. But Ezra seems to have a few supporters, claiming that most of the charges against them have been dropped, and people should be given a second chance. I mean, DC is saying that the actor is working on themselves, so maybe it's true. Either way, whatever the truth is, fans still have a long list of actors they think should replace Miller in all the potential future Flash projects. The first of them is Grant Gustin, who has been the Flash for almost a decade now, so clearly he'll know what he's doing if they ever let him join the new DCU. I have to say, Grant's version of The Flash was always a better option to watch, until CW decided to mess up the writing in the show. But even then, Grant's given the performance of his life in that show, so he's at the top of the list to replace Ezra for all the fans of the Scarlet Speedster. Then there's George McKay, whose name came up as a solid replacement at one point last year. And even Grace Randolph claimed he was being eyed as a potential lead for the movie, until the whole thing turned out to just be a rumor. There's also Jack Quaid from The Boys, who was a top pick from Redditors, claiming that he had just the right look to play our favorite speedster. And finally, there was Lucas Till, who even got to star in a fan-made poster as the Flash. And let me tell you, he fit the character pretty well. There were a few other names that fans voted for, including Elliot Page from the Umbrella Academy, Garrett Hedlund from Tron Legacy, Dylan O'Brien, Timothy Chalamet, and even Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things, who could play the role to perfection. So basically, fans decided to name every actor on the planet except for Ezra themselves, and we all know why. In fact, their behavior aside, The Flash's numbers are a glaring reason why they don't want the producers to use Ezra again. Because, let's be honest, even with films like Black Adam under its belt, DC really missed the mark with The Flash, which opened to just $55 million in the domestic market. Believe it or not, that's even lower than Black Adam and is just above Shazam's opening numbers of $53 million. Fun fact, according to a rumor, the sequel would only be made if the movie hit a number close to the $770 million that The Batman made in 2022. But with the performance it's given so far, I don't think it's even going to come close to Aquaman's domestic numbers, let alone the Batman's. So at this point, we don't even know if there's going to be a sequel for Ezra to star in, let alone being recast for it. So I guess that's something we just have to wait for to find out. There you have it, folks. From the disappointing numbers The Flash opened to domestically, to recasting rumors saying Miller's out of DC for good, that was all there is to know about Ezra being replaced as The Flash.